Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about strings. So let's start by firing up our Jupyter lab and start to explore strings. Okay, I'll create a new notebook. I'll name it strings. So what is a string? A string is a stream of characters enclosed by single or double quote. For example, I'll assign the first name variable a string, let's say Mary, for example, or I'll assign the last name variable another string called Jack. These are both string. The important thing to notice is if you started the string with a single quote, you have to finish it with a single quote. You will not be able to mix and match. You cannot do this and type Mary and then end it with a double quote. It will give you an error. Okay? I'll delete the cell. Now that we have been introduced to strings, we can do some operations with strings. For example, we can concatenate strings. What does it mean to concatenate strings? It means to combine strings. For example, if I type first name plus last name, by the way, Jupyter Lab has an autocomplete. So if you type the first few characters and then press tab, it will autocomplete the variable name, the function name, etc. If I executed the cell, it will give me Mary Jack, where Mary is the first name, Jack is the last name. But I think this doesn't look quite right. So what we can do is type first name, then concatenate it with a space. This is a space. You can simply open single or double quote and then type space on the keyboard. It will give you a space. And then type last name. This is much better. Okay. We can also do different operations. For example, let's try to multiply the first name by 5. What do you think the result will be? It will be repeating the string. Okay. So what if I want to do it like this? I mean first space, then Mary, and repeat it. I have to put both of them in parentheses and then repeat it. Okay? So let's explore another thing. Let's define a new variable called message, and the message is hello Python. I have an image in here, so let's display it in a cell. Okay, I'll convert this cell to a markdown and then I'll insert an image. I can reference the current path that I'm in, either in Windows or Linux, by typing // and then the image that I have is hello Python. Alright, this is how Python represents a string. Strings are indexed with the first character having index 0. For example, H is indexed at 0, then E at 1, L at 2, etc. What does this mean is if I type message and then we put 0 in a square brackets. This means that I want the first letter. If I type message and then 3 in here, this will give me the third letter, which is L. Again, if I type message and then minus 3 in here, this will give me a no, since indexing can be positive or negative. Positive indices will start from here until the end of the string. Negative indices will start from here until the end of the string. Okay, so if I type message and then minus 7, it will give me the P at the picture in here. Okay, in addition to indexing, slicing is also supported. So what does it mean to slice a string? It means that I want to get a segment of the string. For example, if I type message from 3 to 6, from 3, which will start here, to 6. 6 is excluded. So the last number in here is excluded. 3 is included. So this will give me 3, 4, and 5, which is LO space. Okay, let's try another one. From 2 to 9. Okay, why don't you get this image and paste it in here so it will be visible again? So again, this is slicing from character number 2 to character number 9. Okay, so how about slicing from character number 5 to, if I left the last number in here without type anything, this means that until the end of the string. So this will take the character starting from character 9 until the end of the string. Same thing can be applied to the beginning of the string. So I'll take from here to 7. Okay? The formula for the slicing is as follows. Let's convert this cell to markdown, and then we will type slicing is end, start to end, and step. This means that if I wanted to slide the message starting from character 2 to character 10 and step is 2, for example, I'll start from position 2 to 10, but I'll step 2 characters at a time. So the first character is L, then O, then P, and that's it, because the 10 is not included. As we said before, the last number in here is not included. Okay, so let's take another example. How about message? And then I'll start from 3 this time, and I'll leave this one, and then I'll take step 3. What do you think the output will be? Okay, let's bring it here with us. So let's begin by calculating it. I'll start from position 3. This means till the end of the string, and then I'll take a step 3. This is the first character, so I leave 2 and 3. This is the second character, I leave 2 and 3. The third character, and then the last one is the exclamation mark. Okay, so how about if we typed from -10 to -2 step 4. Okay, from -10 to -2. This will mean that this is the first character. I'll step 4 characters time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this is excluded, so the result will be ly. Okay. Let me show you one last thing. What do you think the result will be if I typed this? And then step -1. So I'll start from the start, I'll finish to the end, and the step will be -1. Can you guess it? This will reverse the string. We'll start from the last character in here and get it to the first character. Okay. So let's move this in here and start some more practice. How about if I typed from -1 to -11 step -2. This will start from the last character till -12, and I'll step 2 at a time. O, first character is exclamation mark, then O, then T, then P, then O. The L is excluded. Okay? I think that you have mastered indexing and slicing. Strings are immutable. This means that I cannot change the character once they are declared. This means that if I try to assign this another character, it will result in an error. As you can see, the error says that string object does not support item assignment. Okay. If I wanted to change the string, I can change it this way. I'll just assign the variable a complete different string. So if I wanted to set the first character to J, I think you get it. Okay, so let's return back. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the functions related to strings. First, to find the length of a string, you can use the built-in function length and then pass in the variable or pass a string. It will give you the number of characters in the string. Okay, how about if I wanted to split the string based on the spaces? So I have another function called split. As I told you before, I can just type a couple of characters and press tab. It will autocomplete what I'm trying to type. Okay, so when I type split, it will split the strings into 2 different strings. By default, the split character used in here is a space. If I press Shift Tab in any function, it will display the parameters for this function. We will explore this in much more details later. But for instance here, the separator, which is one of the parameters, is by default space. This type of object is called a list. We will explore it again in much more details later. Okay, let's create another string that I think will be much better. So I'll define another string called new message, and I'll just type this is a longer string. Okay, so again, if I wanted to split this string, I'll use the function split, and it will cut the string where the spaces is and return every segment separate. How about to assign this to a variable and see what we can do with it? So I'll assign a new variable called split message to the new message.split. Okay, so if I wanted to join this to display what's in the split message, it will be the same list that we have printed in here. So I can combine the different pieces of this list into one string by using a function called join. I can use double quote dot join and then pass in the list. This will, because I didn't pass anything in here, it have just concatenated the strings without any spaces. But I can put space in here, or let's give it 3 spaces, and then it will join it with 3 spaces. Okay, let's get back to the string functions or methods that we can apply. Let's get our new message. How about converting this to uppercase, for example? So new message dot upper. I have another function that is called new message dot lower. New message dot lower will convert the string into all lowercases. Okay, there is another function that is called capitalize that will capitalize the first letter in the string. Okay, how about if I wanted to search for something? So I can use new message dot find, for example, L. This will return the index of the first occurrence of the character I am searching for. Okay, how about if I search it for T, since there are multiple T's in the string? This is the first occurrence because this is a capital letter. To verify this, I'll search for T, which will give us an index of 0. Okay, how about if I search it for something that does not exist? So I'll find, for example, Y. This will return -1. So if the character is present, it will display the index of the first occurrence of the character. If the character is not present, it will return -1. Okay. One more thing. Find has some parameters. So the first parameter is the string that I'm searching for, and then the start, and then the end. Start means where should I start searching, and end means where should I stop searching. For example, let's search for a character that appears multiple times. So let's try to find I. Okay, I exists more than one in the string. The first occurrence is at position 2 because this is 0, 1, and 2. Okay, what if I try to search for an I but starting from position 3? This will give us 5. Let's display the message to be nearest. So if I started from position 3, which is the S, this is position number 4 and this is position number 5. So let's give it one more try. Why don't we search again for I starting from position 7, for example. This is the I at position 20. Okay, I think you have mastered how to search for substring in string. Okay, so let's try something new. Let's try to replace the I with Y. So this has replaced all the I's in the string with a Y. By the way, the original string haven't changed at any time. It has been always the same. The function will return a new string. If I want to assign it to a new variable, I can simply assign the variable replaced. For example, I can assign it the I with Y. So now replaced have the new text message. If I wanted to replace the string, I can simply do it like this. The new message will equal new message dot replace I with Y. Okay, let's try it. Okay, now this is the new string. Okay, another function that we can count the occurrence of a certain character. For example, let's count the number of Y's. Y's occurred 3 times in the string. Okay, let's define a new variable that have the text of hello Python. Okay, let's try to align this string in a 30 character string by aligning it to the left. How about aligning it to the right? So I can write a line to again 30 characters, and then this is the space that I should fill the remaining character with. Okay, so it's aligned to the right. How about center it? I can center it again in a 30 character length, and I'll fill the remaining gaps with spaces. It doesn't have to be spaces, by the way. I can just do something like this. I can center it again in a 30 character length, and then I'll put hyphen, for example, this will type it like this. Of course, this can give you a nice print out for the strings. Okay. Do you remember the variable first name and last name? How about if I try to output the string hello, and then I'll type first name and then space and then last name. If I printed the output, it will print hello, first name, and then last name. By the way, I have added a space after the hello, so the first name is not directly attached to the O. Okay. There is a couple of more ways to print the same string. I can just type output equals hello, and then I'll add two curly braces for the two variables that I want to print. Then I'll type dot format and then the name of the first variable and then the name of the second variable. Format is a function that will take each variable and substitute its value within the curly braces. So I can format the string like this or like this. I have a couple of more ways. I can also format the string like this. Hello, and then again curly braces. I can also format the string by typing hello and then curly braces. I'll type 0 in here, curly braces, I'll type 1 in here, and again format first name, last name. Okay, the first one, this will put each variable in the same order. This, I can put them in the same order, but I can repeat it more than once. For example, I can repeat the first variable multiple times, as you can see. Okay. The last format string that I'll show you is the preferred one actually, but please note that this is only available starting from Python 3.6. Okay, so this, I can format the string by typing F and then open single or double quote and then hello. Then I'll put curly braces and I'll put the first name and then curly braces and then so this, if I printed this, it will give it the same output. I prefer this option because it's much clearer, and don't consider this in this simple example. You can output much complicated and complex strings. Okay, this will conclude our string exploration. Thank you for watching and join me in the next lecture.